Hello guys, this is Caesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. It's time to add a bunch of red foxes to our Elm Hill City Zoo. The red fox is of course another animal added to Planet Zoo with a new Twilight pack, and it suits super well to our zoo. That's why I really wanted to add it here. We are building this new enclosure next to the raccoons and the skunks that we've built for in previous episodes, and right now we have this little Twilight Pack section in our zoo. This enclosure of course will be a bit bigger than the ones that we've added recently, but still I didn't want to have a large group of foxes. We'll have 5 of them, and I was able to get a black one off the market and also a crossed one, so it kind of looks like the red one, the regular one, the red one, and the black one had a baby, and this is this crossed one, so it looks really cool. And also I must say that I love the black variant of the red fox. It looks really beautiful, this jet black coloration with those shiny yellow eyes, so I will showcase this guy of course in the cinematics by the end of the video. I just love the red foxes. I am so happy that they were added, although for me those are the animals that I see very often on the streets of my hometown, so for me maybe it's not a typical zoo animal, but still I think that they look really cool and they bring so many color variations to the game, and I am so hopeful that from now on they will also be adding those color variations to other animals that they will be adding to Planet Zoo. So yeah, I'm very excited for today's video because I think that the enclosure looks really cool. So in the last video I told you guys that I kind of struggled with an idea for a red fox habitat because all the ones that are on Pinterest for example are very like plain and boring, nothing special, and of course I wanted to build something more like beautiful, nice looking, and then I just figured out that we are building the zoo in temperate biome in Europe, so this is the place where the red foxes live. Yeah, I live in that sort of climate, so I see them all the time. So I decided to build something very like natural that will suit the biome of our zoo, so it just looks like they just decided to surround this nature scene that they already had in the zoo with a fence, and that's how the habitat for the red fox was created. So basically that was an idea for today's video. This isn't inspired by any real life habitat, any picture. This is just something that I had in my head. So we'll create this very beautiful nature scene with something very cool in the middle of the habitat, but more on that later. Right now, as you guys can see, we are working on a viewing gallery for this habitat. And this is created with the same technique that I created the shelter for the raccoons and the skunks. I thought that it sort of will make sense to have the buildings in similar style next to each other, so we use that just opposite of this habitat, and I really love this design, so I decided to go for it once again. This is all created with the new wooden pieces from the Twilight pack, and yeah, we'll have 3 of those viewing galleries. Those will be the only places where the guests will get a really cool view inside the habitat. I just wanted them to be like sort of inside of the habitat. That's why I decided to go for this like design or idea that if you stand in there in this corner, like in between those 2 glass panels, you'll feel sort of like you are inside of the habitat. This is a bit inspired by my trip to Barcelona Zoo at the beginning of this year, where I saw this hyena habitat where you were entering those viewing galleries that were sort of more like inside of the habitat. You were sort of like stepping into it a bit, but of course you were surrounded by the glass and you could see the hyenas like circling around the enclosure. This was really cool, so I wanted to go for something like that as well. After being done with this viewing gallery, I just copied it over into different places, so it gives the guests opportunity to see those animals from the different angles. And I must say that the view from those viewing viewing galleries from every of them is really like beautiful, so the placing of them was really good. Of course, I will show you guys the view when we'll be done in the cinematic shots by the end of the video. After being done with that, you guys could see a fence magically appearing in here. This is my design that I did for fallow deers, then I used it for the Alpine ibex and the Dall sheep, and those habitats are just opposite of this habitat, so I decided that also using like the cohesive fences will look just nice. So I just made it a bit like taller because the foxes, they are jumpers and even climbers, and they can climb like lower fences. I've seen them like jumping over the fences in the gardens here in my hometown, so yeah, I knew that it needs to be tall. So then I of course surrounded the whole habitat with this fence. I won't show you like adjusting the ugly corners and stuff like that because it took so much time and it would be very boring. After that, I also added like this overhang of the fence on the roofs of those viewing galleries, so we are sure that they wouldn't be able to escape. And yeah, this fence looks really nice here. I love that it is green and it blends really well with the foliage, because I need to tell you that there is tons and tons of different plants in this habitat. One of the more heavy planted habitats in this zoo for sure. I just wanted to create this nature scene that you guys will be able to see in a moment. But let's change the topic of the conversation for a second. Because I don't know if you guys saw it on my social media. If you are following there, I'm sure you did, because I spammed all my social media with it. And also I posted a community post here on YouTube about it. And we have some really exciting news for the channel, really something big coming. This is something that I was teasing for a while, but it took some time to start this very big project. But yeah, without further like talking about it, let me just announce that I will be doing my first collaboration ever with two different amazing creators. We will be of course creating a completely new zoo here in Planet Zoo for you guys to see and to enjoy. So, and the two wonderful creators that I will be doing this collaboration with are Zoof and Leader, who are crazy talented. They create those really like realistic, beautiful designs in Planet Zoo. I'm sure you guys know them. If not, I will introduce them in my first video of the new collaboration. So yeah, when they reached out to me, I just, without any thinking or anything, said yes, let's do it. I was so excited for that because I really admire their creations, and I am very like convinced that I'll be able to learn so much from this collaboration, because I'll be able to see them working on their habitats, on their builds. I will go into detail, and I will for sure take out a lot for me out of this. And also I am so hopeful that they will like my creations and won't, drop me off after my first video. That would be so funny. Just imagine they do their videos, then it's time for me, I create mine, I finish it, and they never speak to me again. I really hope that it won't happen. Those guys are building really realistic. I don't know if you saw their Leśna Ostoja series. They did also collaborate on that, and even the late designer did the tour of that zoo. This was a mini zoo. It was really like crazy done, like with tons of details. So yeah, I would really have to push myself to build on their level, but I'm down for a challenge. I cannot wait for this series to be finally released, so you guys can see what we prepared for you. I just can say, I think right now, that this will be a city zoo collaboration, something really up my alley. So yeah, this makes me also really excited. We had different ideas for this collaboration, but we decided to settle on a city zoo, but slightly older one, and it will be located in Denmark. So very specific one, but yeah, the ideas for the series are just insane. So wait till you see that. I am so happy for it because also I felt like my channel needs something like fresh. I didn't want to start a new zoo. Starting it with someone else feels like a bit more, like a bit easier, just because you are not solely responsible for the whole entire new project on your channel that you know that you will probably never finish, just like the Elm Hill City Zoo, which I am so hopeful to finish, but I have so much that I want to add to this zoo. So I didn't want to have another big project like that, and for me, smaller projects, I just know myself that this small project will end up being a huge project as always. So a collaboration on one zoo is something that I am totally down for, and yeah, I hope you guys will be excited for that. I hope you will watch this series, but I can already tell you now that it's gonna be amazing. It was so hard for me to keep this secret. I am very bad when it comes to, you know, being quiet and not talking about stuff that I have to be quiet about. Yeah, finally I can talk openly about it, and it just feels amazing because I also really like those guys. We are talking a lot on Discord about the ideas and so on. This will be just a pleasure and a very cool thing for my channel. So again, I hope you guys will be down for it and you'll be watching the new videos. Of course, my projects don't go anywhere. I will still be uploading the videos from this zoo. It's good that we have 3 persons because, you know, I'll be uploading my episode from the new Valby City Zoo, because that's the name, every 3 weeks. So in between this time, I will have just time to work on my own projects, such as this Elm Hill City Zoo. So yeah, that is a big news for my channel. And now let's go back to our lovely red foxes, because so much happened on the screen while I was talking about my very exciting news. So as you guys could see, we finished the fences, and then we did something very cool in the middle of this habitat, which is a little small water section, which is actually a pond. And I was here very inspired by my forest walks with my dog, because in place where I live, and if I will sometimes take a car and go to the forest that is like, I don't know, 20 minutes from my home, I'm sometimes going to this place to walk my dog to tire her off, because then she's sleeping and she's not annoying me. In this place, there's a lot of those small ponds in the forest, and they are really like overgrown with a lot of like this duckweed and different reeds and stuff like that. So sometimes during the summer you don't even see the water because it is so overgrown with different vegetation, with different, I don't know, water plants and other things. So this was what I was going for. Let's just imagine that in this place, before the Elm Hill City Zoo was even founded, was this forest, and there was this little forest pond in the middle. And when they decided to, you know, build a zoo here, they just surrounded the pond with the fences and decided to make it into one of the enclosures, and we have the red foxes right now in here. So they decided to just leave this pond in here. So I wanted to make it look a bit like overgrown, as I just told you guys. I used for this those periwinkle leaves, also the elephant grass, and a bit of decals to make it look a bit more like textured and stuff. Then I added those little cliffs that we created for the skunks. And actually, I asked you guys in my last video to help me with naming those, because I didn't have an idea how to call those things in English. I called them cliffs or landslides or something like that, and I wanted your help to tell me what they are exactly called, because the definitions online were just crazy. And you gave me so many names, so many different names that I still don't know how to call them. But I think that I will settle on one because I just simply like how it sounds. But I just wrote down all the names to tell you guys. So the names that you gave me for those little terrain formations are drop-off, terrace, cliff, hardscape, retaining walls, outcrop, slope, small mat walls, ledge. Looking at the pictures of all of those things on Google Images, I think that the ones that makes the most sense and the ones that I sort of was going for while building those little formations were the drop-offs, the terraces, the outcrops, or the ledges. And I really like the name ledge. I don't know why, so maybe I will settle for a ledge, but also drop-off or terrace. It's sort of is a bit what I created here, so yeah, I'll be using those names probably, and thank you guys so much for your help. It was not expected that I'll be given so many different names, but now I have sort of like an idea. I know now that the landslide is definitely a wrong answer. Some of you said that the cliffs can be used, but there are just small cliffs, but you suggested the name. I think that the most answers were the drop-off or terrace, so we'll be using those. And also I really like the word ledge. Ledge, it just sounds nice. The terrain ledge. I don't know, maybe it's stupid, but for me it sounds nice, so I'll be using that as well. So thank you to whoever gave me those answers. You guys are always just the best. But again, we are not talking about the video and what I am doing on the screen, so let's go back to it. As you guys could see, after being done with those terrain ledges, I did some planting. I didn't show you all the planting of this habitat because it was a lot of work. Believe me, this was really a lot of work. This is a very big habitat, and I wanted to make it look a bit like overgrown as always, a bit messy with foliage, so I had to mix different kinds of them. I must say that there will be a lot of the Yorkshire foggrass, like really a lot of it. To quote the lady designer, how much rocks do you want? Yes. I can say, how much Yorkshire foggrass do you need? Yes, simply yes, because it's so much of it in here in this habitat. So I didn't show you all the planting, but also what I had in mind is that foxes, they are really moving. They are constantly like moving throughout their whole habitat. Just the canids do that. This is so typical for them. They just do those rounds around their, parameter of their like habitat just to check everything, and there are no intruders there. So I knew that I shouldn't place that like foliage next to the fences, because this is just where they will be going constantly, so they will just stomp on all the foliage. And I also did those pacing trays inside of the habitat, so there are just those small paths where they can move around and stuff. I also really wanted to add the burrow for them. They can use the bigger burrow, but for me it always looks a bit weird when you just place the burrow, because they simply don't work like that. The animals dig them like more down in the ground, or they dig in the, for example, a terrain ledge again. So it's not just a hole sticking out of the flat terrain as we have it here in the game. So I sort of like it to blend it. Somehow I did that with the skunk habitat, and again I did that in here. So I added some of those stalagmites to create this little hill that they dig the hole in, and I also planted it with a lot of foliage to make it look a bit more like overgrown, and I think that this little detail of the burrow looks really cool. Then I also added some more details to this habitat, such as like those dead trees for some different texture. I also added some enrichment items for the foxes. And that will be all and for the inside of the habitat and the nature part. After that, we'll focus on the shelter. Again, here I wanted to go for the same facade of the shelter that we did for the raccoons and the skunks, because again they are next to each other, so I thought it makes sense. This time I want to show you the interior of the shelter. Will be able to see that in the cinematics. This interior took me so much time that this could be another video just so, you know, creating this interior. I don't know for how much I did it, but also my game crashed during creating it and it didn't save. Like a part of it saved, but I had to redo a lot of it and I almost gave up, but I didn't. I'm a very stubborn person, so once I will start something, I want to finish it. And yeah, I had to redo a lot, but in the end, I really like how this shelter looks inside. Also, I'll probably do like one of the cinematics just as I did with the rhinos, that I will like move the roof of the shelter to give you guys nicer views inside of the shelter, just to show you those inside parts, because I think that this time they look really nice. Also, what I will do is create a new fence for the guests. I was feeling like a new design today for the fences. I didn't want to reuse one that I already created for some other area, and I really like this simple design. And I will also show you some planting outside of this habitat, because the concept is that the fences of the habitat are sort of like in a distance from the path, so there's a lot of, you know, different foliage growing in between the path and the fences, and the places where the guests can see the fox are only in the places of the viewing galleries. So this is what I had in my head. I really think that this habitat really looks good in this particular corner of our zoo. It really suits well. What I must say I don't really like about it are the shadows. Unfortunately, we are building it not in the perfect spot when it comes to the lights in Planet Zoo. As I told you guys so many times, I have a massive issue with the light in Planet Zoo, with the direction from the sun, from which the sun is shining. It's always like shining from one direction, so you cannot change that. So when you are building like against the sun, a lot of details of the habitat are just gone and it's so dark. But maybe for this habitat it somehow makes sense because there are so many trees. I also wanted to make it a bit more like, you know, dense, so it looks like a forest. So when you have a lot of those trees, you'll have those shadows. But yeah, this is the only thing that I don't like about this habitat. The other things I just love. I think it was such a great idea, and I'm so proud of myself that I can come up with something like that without any reference pictures. And I really hope you guys will like this one as well. I think that the water section in the middle is something that really looks good. And also, this is another one thing that I don't enjoy, that the foxes are able to just like stand on those periwinkles that are there in the water. It somehow looks weird, and I'm not able to block them in any way. I tried elephant grass, but I think it stopped working. I don't know, I couldn't just block those. You know, there's this trick with the elephant grass that you can just sink it down into the terrain and the animals won't be able to go through it, but the foxes are able, so yeah. We have to live with that. Nothing I can do without making it look a bit like weird. I didn't want to put any fences or anything, so I hope that they won't stand on those floating plants too much. Unfortunately, the video is coming to an end and I wasn't able to share with you guys any fun facts about the red foxes. They are just amazing and beautiful animals, and again, I am so happy that we have so many color variations in the game, and I think that the model is really, really nice. I really love this animal and I am so happy that it was added to Planet Zoo. Okay guys, so this is all that I have for you in today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Just wait till you see the final finished product in the cinematic shots by the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed today's video and you are not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider to do so. Consider to click that subscribe button and join our giraffe family. If you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up down below. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and of course comment down below if you liked today's video and if you are excited for my first collaboration on the new zoo. If you would like to support the channel a little bit extra and you would like to get an access to really cool perks such as custom giraffe emojis, members only post and members only Discord chat, you can do it with the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!